great to be here, everybody. My name is Oren. I will introduce myself in a second. Today we are going to talk about surprise product-led customer success. Great. So this is me. Here is LinkedIn QR code, right? So you can quickly connect and say hello, just so I know who you are. I'm SVP Customer Success in Redis. Redis, I will talk about it in a second, but basically it's a startup, still a startup. Unfortunately, we did not IPO yet. We were very close, but then the war, Ukraine, Russia started, the whole market completely collapsed, and we are still a startup, but I've been here for quite some time. Before that, I've been to a company called Reactive that was a great success for 5 minutes and then died slowly. And Business Stairs, which was exactly the same story. So I hope that Redis will be a different ending than what I had before. But while I'm Jewish, I'm like Catholic marriage. So 10 years in Redis, 7 years in Reactive, 7 years in Business Stairs. I'm not moving a lot. So my CV are not up to date. It takes me a while. Every time I need to write it down, like it's what happened in the last 10 years. Great. Meaning of life for me, first and foremost, is family. I have 3 kids, a wife, as far as I know. She's still there. I love music. I play music. My kids play music. The house is full of music. The neighbors love us for that. My son is a drummer. I love rock climbing. First day is the rock climbing day. I love basketball. I play basketball. Everything is a little bit slower nowadays. My future is behind me. So when I climb, it's a little bit slow. When I play basketball, running is not really running. Jumping is not really jumping. But I still like it. I dislocated my elbow a couple of months ago, so I'm now resting. And I love learning new things. And new things are like a passion of mine. I get obsessed if I hear something and I don't know about it. I will read about it, try to remember it. I might forget, but then it happens every day. Like it can be something stupid that I hear on the radio, see on TV, something part of work. It's really an obsession. I try to pass it to my kids. Every time they say something, I'm like trying to explain it very deeply. A couple of weeks ago, I asked my daughter, she's almost 11 now, almost 12 now. I said, do you know what it means? And she's like, yes. Like, are you sure? She said, well, no, but I don't want you to explain to me, so yes. I'm like, okay, I think that's it. So what is Redis? Redis is an in-memory database. Basically, we all know, well, some of you might know Redis, but it's a NoSQL database. So it's not relational, it lives in memory, which means not on disk. Super fast. It's the fastest database alive. For this reason, many of the companies in the world use Redis. Either use us or use some of our competitors. We are the company behind, it's an open source. We are the company behind the open source. We also have a commercial product. And like many open source projects, we build open source and AWS is making the money. So we try to get the breadcrumbs of it, and this is our story. It's super simple. If you know to code, you know how to use Redis. It's super simple, super intuitive, and this is the reason why it's the most loved database, blah, blah. AI ready. I learned that any presentation or company has AI, otherwise nobody's listening. Trusted by more than 10,000 companies. We have more than 10,000 paying customers. Many of the logos here, many of the logos that we have are not here. Most of the Fortune 500 companies, almost all the banks, credit cards, health, whatever. If it's a business and it's big and they need performance, they use Redis. Very simple. So one thing I wanted to say about customer success. Customer success, everybody here, we love customers. We want to treat customers right. We want to love customers. It's not about re-hugging and singing Kumbaya. It's not about that. Customer success is the only thing it's about is growth. Yes, we hug customers. Yes, we like customers. We treat them right. We try to do everything that we can to satisfy them. But the goal is not only the satisfaction. It's a business in the end of the day. And the goal of customer success, and it's important to remember that, the goal of customer success is growth. Revenue is oxygen, right? Sales, we pay a lot of commissions, people go on a lot of dinners, they go to play golf, whatever, close the deal, we spend a lot of money. The only way to make money sustainable and have enough money for the business to grow is customer success retention, gross retention, net retention. It costs about $1.8 to bring a new customer, to get $1, and it should cost anywhere between 15 to 30 cents to retain the dollar. Depends on how efficient you are. So we have to do our job right. Okay, all the glory goes to the sales that they say, yeah, we close the deal, everybody is like clapping hands, don't know how much it costs to bring this dollar. It's up to us to retain it, and this is when lifetime value comes, right? Customers, it takes them almost 2 years to repay what we invested, and then how much money can we get from them in the long term? And it's not about abuse of customers, right? It's about giving them value, showing them value so they can grow using your product. And this is what customer success is about. We help our customers grow. In return, we get a piece of the pie. Now, why is the title of my presentation How to Hack It? Because I don't really have a product. I have a platform. I give customers a blank page and it's a database, but they can use it for whatever they want. So I have more than 10,000 paying customers. We manage hundreds of thousands of databases, but they don't use my UI. They almost never log into UI, only when they need to create a database. That's it. Once they did it, they never see a UI. So I cannot monitor the behavior of my customers by their clicks. So that's the first problem. I also don't know what they're trying to do. One will use it as a cache, one will use it by database as a session management, one will use it as a whatever, one may search, vector similarity, graph, whatever, I don't know. There are millions, or not millions, but hundreds of use cases for Redis. I have no idea what they're trying to do because I cannot look in their database. It's their data. I cannot touch their data. So, not only that I don't know how they use my database, especially with 10,000 customers, I need like a 1,000 customer success, 1,000 person customer success group to speak to each one of them. So not only that I don't know what they're using it for, I also don't know what success is for them. Redis, as I said, is the fastest database on earth. But what is good and what is bad? Generally, we say response time of up to 1 millisecond. Okay, we can process millions of operations a second. Response time, a good response time is 1 millisecond. But is that success? I don't know. Some customers, they used Oracle before, and for them 10 milliseconds is like amazing. And I had a customer calling me in the middle of the night that their latency went up from 0.08 millisecond to 0.1 millisecond. And they're like, everything is collapsing because this is the bottleneck now and all the rest of the systems now cannot catch up. So I don't know, is someone has a 1 millisecond latency, is it good, is it bad? Do we have 100,000 operations per second, is it good, is it bad? I don't know. I have to speak to each one of them to understand it, and each one of my customers might have one database, might have 50 databases. It's gonna take a very long time to understand what they're trying to do. And also, it's a point in time. Now I know what they're trying to do. 6 months from now, did it change? Did it not change? I don't know. So a lot of unknown. I don't really have a product to work with to monitor. So how do we do product-led CS if I don't have a product? I just have a blank page and someone can write whatever they want to do on this page, and I have to do my job. And this is what I'm here to talk about. So really, when you don't have a product, like in my case, but even if you do have a product, always look at the data. When customers use your product, they generate data, they generate footprint, they generate whatever. You can see some behavior happening without looking at exactly what they're trying to do. And so basically what we do is look at the data and try to deduct what is good and what is bad. Our world divides into two. We have on-premise and we have fully managed in the cloud. Especially banks, credit cards, government, health, etc. It's going to be ages before they move completely to the cloud. Most of them are going to run their data in the next few years on-premise. So a lot of our revenue and many of our customers come from the on-premise world. The big downside of on-premise is that I have zero visibility. I don't know what's going on there. It's a black box. I sell them the software, they manage it, they put the data, I cannot access it, it's behind firewall, it's behind whatever it is. It's there, and how do I do customer success with that? The other option is fully managed cloud. Here I offer them the infrastructure, I manage the infrastructure, they use it, but I get a lot of metrics. I know the throughput, I know the latency, peak times, downtimes, whatever it is, I know everything, which is much, much better and easier. So let's start first with on-premise. The only way for me to know what's going on is if they share some information. I need to be nice and ask them for them. So two reasons for the customers to share information with me. One is if I ask them nicely and they agree. And they need a good reason to share it with me. A second one, and we never fail with that, is when they have a problem. They have to send me information so I can help them troubleshoot. Working in a startup, even if it's 10 years in the same startup, we somehow maintain and increase the number of bugs that we have. So it's a trusted way to get information from the customer. It's a very reliable way. So what we did is very basic. In the beginning, we were not efficient. When customer on-premise had a problem, we used to ask them for, give me this log and give me this configuration file, give me whatever. And it took a lot of ping pongs with the customers in order to understand what the problem is. And we wasted a lot of time. And this is completely reactive now. This is support. At some point I said, okay, this is ridiculous. Let's think about everything that we might ask our customers for, so to start troubleshooting. Let's package it. We send them a script and said, run the script, it will collect everything that we might need, system configuration, log files, whatever. I will get it all and I will never have to ask you anything else about the system itself, and I can now troubleshoot it. So this was reactive. What I found that when I have all of this information of the customer, I also get a lot of information that is not related to any problem that they might have. For instance, which version they are using. For instance, how many of their licenses that they bought, they are actually using, right? Consumption. For instance, who are the users that are using the product? How many databases? What is the traffic on the throughput and latency averages, right, on this database? So I get to collect a lot of information that I can throw the logs and I can throw a lot of this information that I don't need, but the metadata, I keep it. Okay, and this is how I can now understand how my customer that I'm never going to see their databases because it's behind the DMZ or whatever, I'm going to know about their usage. I save this information every time that they send me the support package, and now I can learn. And this is how I can generate customer success from our product without a product. And let me give you some examples. For instance, we have, like everybody else, software with end of life. I want to be ahead of the curve, right? And make sure that the customers can upgrade in time before end of life comes, maybe 6 months, 8 months before. Using this information that I have from all the support packages that I keep in a database of its own, the metadata. Now I can say, give me all the customers that they're using the product that is going to be end of life in 6 months. I get this list, and now I can reach out to them with a unified message. This product is going to go end of life. Let's meet, let's talk, let's have a plan so you can upgrade in time, and let's do it all smoothly. Great. So I generated from data, you would say meaningless data, right? Just the version number in a support ticket. I managed to take this data and leverage it into something that I can be proactive and help our customers succeed. Because what happens if I don't do that? And it happened to us, and I'm sure to others as well. We are late, and then the customer is using a version that is end of life. Open a ticket, I go to my R&D, they say end of life. We are not supporting it, ask them to upgrade, and now I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I have to support the customer, it's already dead, no one else is helping me, and it's pretty not convenient, and now I have to force the customer to do something that is under pressure. So I'm ahead of the curve. What else can I do with this metadata? For instance, as I told you, consumption. Customer success is about growth. Let's say that the customer bought 1,000 licenses, but they are using 200. I know that I have a problem. I know that they are not consuming enough. One, they might not be happy with what they bought, so they will churn. Or even if they are happy with what they bought, but they did not deploy as much as they wanted, comes renewal, I have 80% shrink. Okay, 200 out of 1,000, 80% shrink, nobody's happy. So I can see that, I can be proactive saying, guys, I see that you're using only 20% of your licenses. Is there a problem? Do you need more training? Let's see what you play. Why did you buy 1,000 licenses if you only use 200? Did you want to deploy somewhere else and you did not have time? Do you not see the value? Now I can engage with the customer in a fruitful conversation that will eventually help the customer use more of my product and hopefully buy more in the end of the day. If the customer is using 1,000 out of 1,000, 100%, it's also a good place to say, you maxed out on your licenses. Like, how do you plan to grow? Like, you don't have a single license now to grow. Let's see where you are, what you need, and maybe we can engage with the sales team, etc., and have an upsell, cross-sell, whatever it is. So all this dry data that I collect from either incidents or if they voluntarily send me the support package, I can leverage this data, understand how the customer is using my product, engage with a conversation with them that will end up with better GRR and NRR, gross retention rates and net retention rates. And just to make sure everybody knows, gross retention rates is how much money you start the year with and how much you end it with from the same pool of customers without upsells. Net retention revenue, it's including upsells, right? So GRR, gross retention revenue, can never be more than 100. Hopefully, it's around 90%. Net retention rate, you're good with your 105, 110, you want to have 130, 50, and above. So, how we do that? We get all of this information, and I don't have people looking at the data one by one and trying to understand, what do I see here? No. It's going to be very hard with hundreds of thousands of databases and so many customers. So we built a tool. We could not find one that we could buy that will match with our expensive work. So we just built a tool that will analyze all of this information, figure out the insights, and if there is a place for someone to reach out to the customer, it will generate automatically a call to action to the customer success manager that will reach out to the customer and say, I saw this, let's talk. So out of hundreds of support packages that I get every week, I don't have to take action all the time. The analysis is automatic, and then I can reach out to the customer with insightful information. This is on-premise. Soon, we'll have some time for questions later in case you have some. In the cloud, I told you that I already have all the information that I might want. I know the version, I know the throughput, latency, CPU metrics, whatever is relevant for me. But still, it's a lot of databases to start and understand, do I see something good or do I see something wrong? For this reason, the solution that I chose is an anomaly detection solution. This is a company called Anodot. They don't care about what you do. They get a series of numbers, they learn the pattern, and if it's good, nothing changes. If the pattern is breaking, they'll tell you the pattern is breaking and maybe you need attention based on some basic rules. So I feed all the metrics that I get from the cloud into the system. The system learns the pattern, right? See, okay, peak times is always on Monday, midday, and on weekends it's lower, whatever. But now I have a peak or a drop, right, in usage or whatever. Then, only then, I will get a call to action to my customer success manager. They will do a basic analysis, try to understand what's going on. If it's something that we want to engage with the customer, we will reach out to the customer and say, I noticed that your traffic dropped by 50%. Was it expected? Or I can see your traffic is growing in the last 2 weeks. You are not gonna run out of licenses very soon. Should we prepare for this success? Should you buy more licenses so you are not stuck and you want to grow and you don't have enough licenses. So all of these discussions will happen based on this automatic analysis of the pattern. We get a detection when something goes wrong, call to action, some human intervention, and then in some cases we'll reach out to the customer. We can save shrinks, we can save churns, we can create upsells, etc. And in general, customers are super impressed when you read their mind. How did you know that we are doing that? Yes, I know. I monitor everything. I know everything about you, and I will let you know if something goes wrong. They trust us more because of that. Last but not least is the reactive to proactive. And the key is here. Never waste a good crisis. Okay? It happens a lot. Something completely bad happens, the customer is super angry, and two things happen. One, it's my chance to shine and show them it's great not to use the open source because you have a support team that will support you. Second thing that happens, and this is the best thing in terms of customer success, all the management of the company that suffered the outage will now join a call. So I'm chasing them 365 days a year over year. They never reply to emails, they never reply to phone calls, never want to join a call. All of a sudden, everybody's coming to me. Now it's my chance to build relationship with them and show them there is a reason why you are our customers and not doing it yourselves. And this is why. So, sorry for the language, it happens, right? But we are here to save the day. And every time that we do it, we manage to, change the situation completely. And not only that, okay, outage happened, our fault, their fault, whatever it is, we fixed it. Now I already know CTO, the CEO, the investors, the chairman, everybody in the company. I can now have another conversation. Let's have another meeting. Let's see how we mitigate it. Let's see how we plan better for the future. So this is the classic product at CS. Every time the product fails, I get great outcomes from customer success. So all these three methods, right? Here is failure, but here is deductive analysis of the usage patterns of the customers, allow me to build customer success for our customers without really having a product. So just to recap quickly on what we have here in terms of the stages. So first we collect the data. No matter what you do, everything is good, everything is bad, I collect the data so I know what's going on. I analyze it and then I analyze it automatically. After I did analysis, I need to create calls to action. I need to create something that is actionable. Just to know stuff, I know stuff, but if you don't use it, it's waste, right? So if I find out something, someone needs to go and do something based on a playbook or whatever. I want to hire smart people. I don't want to trust their intelligence to do something good. I have a playbook. This is the alert you got. This is what you need to do. They follow this call to action and the playbook, reach out to the customer, and most important, the customer gets great outcomes. This is the key. In the end of the day, just talking to a customer without thinking about how the customer can gain from it, only thinking about how I can gain from it is not customer success. The interests of the customer and mine should be aligned as much as possible. First, the customer needs to succeed, then I will get the upsell, cross-sell, retention, whatever it is. How am I with time?
Doing very well.
Okay, great. So, three things that I want to say about CS and product. First, we talk about product-led CS. Customers using the product generate data. This is what we talked about so far on how we can leverage this data to generate work for customer success, which will be meaningful for the customers. However, it works also the other way around. Since I'm customer success, I know the customers the best. I know how they use the product, I know what they need from the product, and it's my job to feed product so they can adjust the product to suit what the customers need. It can be new features, it can be bug fixes, but in general, have this conversation between product and customers. I need to facilitate that. How do I facilitate it? By understanding the need, understanding the gaps, and getting all parties to sit together and have an exchange of ideas. One problem here, and you need to make sure that it doesn't happen, is that you get them together, but nothing happens after that, right? Product commits and nothing happens, and you just look like, not productive, let's say it like that. So you actually have to follow. It's not enough to get everybody in the same room. You actually have to make sure that, okay, we have action items, something will happen, and keep them up to date, even if the update is, we had a great conversation, we understand this feature, we considered it, it's never going to happen. But communicate. And the third one is, we need to nag, okay? Product, especially in my company, they are obsessed with developing whatever they want, the interesting, cool stuff, the visionary stuff, but in the end of the day, customers need to use the product. And sometimes they miss a feature. Sometimes we miss a log. Sometimes the data is impartial, like I cannot get enough intelligence about my customer, I need more data. Whatever I need to be very vocal when I speak to the product team and have this internal interaction. What do I need from you guys so I can be successful in my job? Okay. So what doesn't work and how can we fix it? So first, boring, manual, repetitive work by CS is not great. I can tell them, you have to do that, and you have to do that, and you have to look at this, and you have to understand. They will do it once, twice, and then forget about it. Something more pressing will happen. So my philosophy is, if you can automate it, automate it. You can buy a product, buy it. If you can develop a product, develop it. Whatever you need to do, just so people will focus on interesting things that they can actually repeat and do more. Boring processes cannot last for a very long time. Also, tedious things cannot last for a very long time. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you know Glean. Glean is like Google. You used to have Google Desktop. Now it's like internal Google for all the resources in your company. I found out about it. It took me 2 hours to close the deal with them. They did not even have to send a salesperson in. When support has a problem, just to look internally in Jira, Confluence, the Zendesk, Google Docs, whatever, to try and find out what's the solution, etc. No, you put it in Glean, you get all the relevant resources, it will even offer you a solution. Done. I calculated that it can save 10 minutes a day for people. Maybe even if it saves 10 minutes a month for people, it's still worth the money. So I saw something that is tedious just to look for a problem that is wasting people's time. It's not efficient. Go buy something that will make it efficient. Move on. Every 10 minutes that I save for someone with the size of my team is a headcount. Okay? I found a way to save 10 minutes a day. I saved one headcount. Found another 10 minutes, another headcount. So for me, very dry, simple math. Second thing, generic insights with no clear value. I noticed that A, I noticed that B, I saw something. If the customer, I come to the customer and say, I see this and I see that, good for you. So you see it. So what now? It needs to be insightful, it needs to be good for the customer. I noticed that. It means that if we continue in this way, you will start suffering from latency. I see that you will run out of licenses. I see that it means that you're overspending on your licenses. That's optimized. Whatever it is, the insight is not enough. Let's have an insight. Let's see how it impacts the customer and how we can move forward from this with a plan to action. Not using the data to learn about your customers. You get the data. Talking to customers is very hard, right? First, getting them. Also covering, right? If you have 2 customers, it's easier. If you have 200 customers, harder, more, it's much, much harder. We want to avoid that. You want to use data, you want to use information that they provide you so you can learn about them without the need to actually talk to someone. It's wasting time. I don't say you have to talk to your customers, but not to collect this data, just to verify this data. So if you don't listen, you don't learn. Listen, try to understand, automate it, try to come up with ways to automatically analyze stuff so you can learn about masses of customers and generate, again, action items later. Working in silos. I see it everywhere. Support is support, customer success, and sales, and finance, and product, and legal. Everybody is doing their own, everybody is swamped. Not enough time for anyone to do their job, and they just, closed in their shell and not talking to anyone. This is not very productive. Especially when it comes to customer success, sales, and product. This is the golden triangle. We learn about the customers. We want to make sure that the customers get the maximum value out of the product. We have to talk to product. We want to make sure that customers that use the product well or need more of use of the product, we have to talk to sales. Bring them to the table, make sure that we maximize on the commercial aspect of it. So it starts with the leadership. Okay, you don't have to be best friends. It's helpful, but you don't have to be best friends. You have to be able to communicate to each other and see how can I help you, how can you help me, how do we make it repeatable, right? And last but not least is giving up. It's very easy to give up, especially in my line of business. I work in customer success and support. Surprise, customers don't approach me when they are happy. Okay, only when something terrible happens, only when something breaks, I see only the things that don't work in my product. This is what I see most of the day. And it's very easy to say this product is terrible and oh my God, R&D, I open so many tickets, they fix 1 in 100. Hopeless. So no, it's not hopeless. Okay, you have to never lose faith and see, okay, this is what I can get. Let's see how I can get it. And I actually have a dedicated team. It's only 2 people, but very vocal people. They collect all the information, all the requests that we have from customers, from support tickets, upsell opportunities, whatever feature requests, whatever. They collect all of them, prioritize, and they work directly with the product team and R&D to make sure that when finally R&D does something for the customers, they will do the most important one. Yeah. So shout louder, make sure that you are heard, that your customers heard, and also, and this is very important, don't ask for everything all the time. Okay, because I found out that if asked for 100 things, then we might do 10 things, let's say, they will choose that 10 that they will do. Not always it will be the 10 that I care about. So I make sure that I always keep a list, prioritized list of this is what I need you to do. If you need to do 1 thing, go to the top 1. If you need 2 things, go to the top 2, etc. Always know, now you gave me number 10 as well, great, but it's not instead of something else. So product and R&D always know what I need, and what I need is not from myself, it's my customers, right? Our customers. And this is how it's working for me. So thank you, and I'm happy to get some questions.